yeah, yeah. Uno, dos, tres, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Ya está, esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Bien pegadito pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Yo le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Nos moquea como lo haya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. La ves de esta cara y eso que no usa Supreme. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca, baby. Presentando pa'
For a fact, they both don't like that woman.
Yep, I told you.
I tell you that because, furthermore, if you look at the situation, their father met that woman when he was 29. Do you know how old Diana was? 16. Diana was 16.
My goodness.
My man
What
was
would they say in 2023?
You see? The eight police have not said anything.
So
now, when your
severe grooming.
imagine your mother goes on TV
Brutal, man.
and says your father and his descendants and his predecessors are bullying me, they're making me not eat, the woman is giving me sleepless nights, and then my mother dies, and then you go and marry that woman. Huh? You think I'm gonna like that woman?
That is a slap in the face.
A big slap in the face. But for William, as you said, he's sucking up because what? For him, he wants to be king.
He wants to be king.
So, but Harry, my guy, my brother, sticking up for his brother.
What you call a man that does not stand for anything, can fall for anything.
He will fall. Look at him; he's just like the wind.
That's why his head is falling as well. His hair is falling out.
Allegedly, he's also like father, like son. I hear.
Yeah.
He also has a side cupping, but
allegedly, allegedly. Is this a news flash?
And allegedly,
are you breaking?
She was there at the coronation.
We didn't confirm it. We didn't hear it here.
Me, I'm just talking what I read in the newspapers.
What newspaper is this?
That already she was also there at the coronation. On Camilla's side. That's what I saw.
William had chest,
Allegedly. So for me, I don't think they like her, but they tolerate her.
So they have a department of side piece affair.
You don't see that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday's podcast. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, folks. Hope everyone is good. I went for salsa and drinks yesterday, so I had no energy in me. by the time I got back. And today I have to take out all of my hair extensions. Okay, my girlies who get braids, you understand the deal. I was getting my hair rebraided tomorrow. My roots. Sorry, folks. I don't know what happened just there. I just accidentally kicked myself out of the podcast. Anyway, I'm back. It's nice to see everyone. Let's see who's here. I think all the usuals are here. 420 in the chat already. Please hit that thumbs up button, folks. Let the algorithm know that we are here. Yeah, salsa in Georgia. It's actually a Cuban girl who moved from Cuba to Georgia. And she's been doing salsa, reggaeton, bachata. So she has her own mini studio here. And I'm just blown away by what I'm finding here in Tbilisi. It's definitely a thriving city. And in terms of actually business and taxation, there's not a lot of red tape here. So they've made the conditions so that it's very easy for pretty much anyone who has a little bit of capital to come and start a business here or live here. Like it's visa free for 1 year for most countries, certainly for the UK. So they're doing their best to stir the economy. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Hashtag cancel Spotify. I have squaddies screenshotting like canceling their subscription, canceling their account. I've never been too like huge on Spotify, to be honest, anyway. Even before Meghan came along. I do still actually like to buy music, and I've never paid for Spotify Premium. So but I do know that a lot of squaddies only got onto Spotify because of archetypes. And even in Spotify's annual report, they said that the Archetypes podcast by Meghan had contributed quite positively to streaming views and also overall income. Rahini, wait, you paid for No, I've never paid for Spotify, but there is a premium version where you can pay for it, and I think it's like you just don't listen to the ads. And they pay artists terribly, by the way. I think the whole business model is in trouble. But anyway, I want to get into a couple of other things before we get into Spotify, okay? Let's get into some other things first. Right, Suits. Suits is officially on Netflix, so you can go and watch that. I will definitely be finding some time to watch it. I've never watched Suits. So I'm sure I'll enjoy it. And I'll let you know episode by episode what I think of that. In absolutely crazy news, Rishi Sunak was at an immigration raid and he was laughing. Don't know what's so funny. Maybe they, tweaked his factory settings, tweaked it to laughing psycho. He is the most robotic prime minister I think we've ever had. Like, this guy has been training to be prime minister probably since he was a boy. The way in which he talks is so it's like you're getting answers from AI. He has that like real politician tone, but he doesn't have the how do I put this? Like, even David Cameron, right? Obviously, I didn't like David Cameron as a prime minister. I didn't like his policies, but he still had a sense of like statesmanship. Obviously, his base could relate to him, but Rishi is like a robot. And then a former prime minister, Mr. Bojo. Mr. Bojo has been paid £250,000 by the Daily Fail. Daily Mail apparently still has money to the tune of £250,000 that they're giving to Boris Johnson. And he is going to write a weekly column for the Daily Mail. It wouldn't surprise me if he just used AI to write the articles, or just had someone on his team to write the articles. This was his first one. The wonder drug I hoped would stop my 11:30 p.m. fridge raids for cheddar and chorizo didn't work for me, but I still believe it could change the lives of millions. How much do you want to bet he's either being paid by the drug company to write that article, or he has stocks in the drug company that is mentioned in this article? Who is reading this? Why do they want to read it? I don't know. Apparently, there's some people out there that want to listen to what Bojo has to say. And the Daily Mail is willing to pay him £250,000. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is money that the average British person is never going to see. He could make absolute millions. Oh, light side. He lives, breathes, and eats privilege. Isn't he from a really well-off family? Yes. Oh dear. Give me a sec, folks. I need to bring up an article for the next slide. One sec. Okay. Actually, we'll go to comments before I go on to the next thing. Josephine said you won't be disappointed. Meghan is a great actress. I'm sure she is, and I'm rather disappointed that I just haven't made the time to try and watch Suits, because I'm sure it's on other platforms. Spotify deleted with pleasure and laughter. Yeah, I've seen people screenshotting. I've cancelled Spotify. Oh dear. I mean, the fact that Spotify is actually laying off so many jobs, they're definitely struggling. All right, next thing. Camilla. Camilla has been given a new title, yet another title. Apparently, Queen is not enough to fill the void in this woman's life. So Charles has now bestowed upon Her Majesty the most ancient and most noble order of the Thistle. This order represents the highest honour in Scotland. Revived by King James, the order has a complement of 16 knights. If anybody knows what the hell that means, please let me know in the comment section. I'm not a royalist and I'm not a historian, so I have no idea what that means. Not to be disrespectful, by the way, you guys know I'm just kidding. I'm sure that is actually quite a high honour in Scotland. And so therefore, why are they giving this to Camilla? Mind you, republicanism is, and also the cause of independence are a lot higher in Scotland. So why are they giving this to her? Why yet another title? What does this even mean? Yeah, most ancient. That's the bit that got me. Most ancient. Oh god, I don't want to be disrespectful. If there are any Scottish people in the chat who can explain what this is and what this means, please do let us know. I saw this article in the National, so maybe this will help us. I haven't actually read this, but here we go. Camilla's Order of the Thistle honour condemned in Scotland. This is from the National, which is a Scottish paper. Republicans have hit out at the announcement that Charles has bestowed Scotland's highest honour upon his wife Camilla, with the move being branded as cronyism with a crown on top. Camilla was brought into the Order of the Thistle on Friday, an honour dating back to at least 1687, and recognises Scottish men and women who have held public office or who have contributed in a particular way to national life, of which Camilla has done absolutely none. William, the Prince of Wales and Duke of Rothesay. William is now the Duke of Prince of Wales and Duke of Rothesay. Is also the order, as is Princess Anne. Appointments are made entirely at the whim of the king. Listen, they can give themselves as many titles as they want. What they really need to be doing is moisturizing and hydrating. That's what they need to be doing. That will help them a lot more than all these titles. Tristan Gray, who's the head of anti-monarchy campaign Our Republic, said moves like this from the royals render being honoured in the UK completely meaningless. He told The National, "It's just so blatant, isn't it? What's she done? It's cronyism with the crown on top. The very concept of being honoured in the United Kingdom just becomes completely meaningless when we all know at this point that it's just nepotism. It's not about what you've done or how you've contributed to the community, it's just who you know. Even Disney has ditched the idea that you can get made special just because the right person fell in love with you." We're at the end of a week of crisis in Westminster because Boris Johnson has been found to be so dishonest. Yet he still just gets to honour a bunch of his pals, one of those people being Camilla's nephew, by the way, who will have power over our laws for our entire lives. Then at the end of the week, Charles turns around and goes, "I can do one better, hold my beer." Gray added he found Camilla being honoured insulting to the likes of athletes and charity workers who have worked hard to earn their honour. There are various other peers and members of the aristocracy in the order, such as Richard Scott, the I'm going to butcher this word, the Duke of Buccleuch. Oh my god. I'm actually going to spell that in the chat and then somebody somebody can pronounce it for me. The Duke of that in the chat. And David, Earl of Airlie. Other names in the order include SNP politician and former Hollywood presiding officer George Reed and former Lord Advocate of Scotland, Elish A. SNP MP Tommy Shepherd, who believes Scotland should have an elected head of state, said honouring the Queen in this way would do nothing for the reputation of the monarchy nor for the border. And that's the thing, isn't it? They think that these honours actually do something. No one is going to like Camilla more now that she's Noble Order of the Thistle. I think the palace really ought to take a long and hard look at the people of Scotland and what they think of the monarchy, and in particular younger Scots, because there's clearly been a massive change in attitude. This sort of thing is not going to make them any more popular with young Scots. Scottish Greens MSP Maggie Chapman said the absurdity of the British monarchy the absurdity of the British monarchy increases by the day. The royal family handing each other elaborate Scottish titles so they can tell each other how important they are won't change the polls, which show more Scots than ever are questioning why we need a monarchy at all. Scotland deserves a modern, democratic, independent republic where power lies with the people. Our head of state isn't something that should be inherited. It isn't a grandfather clock or some nice cutlery. All the titles or extravagant gold-laden shows of wealth they can muster won't change basic democratic principles. And the church said, "Amen." Okay, so it goes on, and then there's actually a couple of other politicians from Scotland who lay in as well. So I will drop the link to that in the chat if anybody would like to actually read it in full, because it's very well written article. I hadn't actually read it. Sorry. Very well written article. I hadn't actually read it. Sorry about that. Yeah, here's the link. They can read it in full. Sure, Scotland is thrilled. Oh dear. Thank you so much, Legs. Is this honour to Camilla to balance out Kate wearing new chocolate medals at the coronation? Does it add pressure for everyone to bow to Camilla? I don't know. They're trying everything. I mean, a £250 million coronation was not enough, apparently. Now we're just taking titles from everywhere, including parts of the United Kingdom, where they're not even interested in the monarchy. Joan Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. You said, Duchess, we see the royals are in a world of fantasy. Yeah. In a world of fantasy playing cosplay with medals and titles. I know she said the UK political establishment has lost all credibility on the world stage. Who will believe them at any G7 conference? It's a total disgrace, and they certainly cannot condemn other countries. Yeah. Throwing stones when you live in a glass house. Janita Smith, how many more titles do they need? Yeah. I didn't know that William was the, what was that? The something of something else I read in that article. And then, the changing of the titles from the Cambridges to the Welleses. And it's like, what does all of this mean? Benjamin, it feels like playing old Monopoly game at this point. Nothing. Yes. Monopoly titles like Monopoly money. Yeah, I'm not kidding, Patty J. They need moisturizer. They need to hydrate. Jesus. Okay. Yeah, coconut vanilla. Some were born with it, others had to work for it. Most of us have to work for it. Okay, next thing. The crown jewels. Now, The Guardian actually did an article some time back about missing jewelry, something to the tune of 80 million, which are not in the national collection. I actually read this out at the time that this was published. I'm not going to read it again, but there seems to be mystery surrounding where some of those jewels have gone. Now, one of those jewels is the Nizam of Hyderabad, named after he who paid for it as a wedding gift for the Queen. That is missing. The last person who was actually seen with that necklace was Kate, and one of the last people to have access to the royal jewelry collection after the Queen passed away was also Kate. Kate and Angela Kelly. And there are millions of pieces of jewelry missing. Now, granted, as I read in the article, some of those pieces actually went missing some time ago, even before Catherine was even in the family. But they still have not been accounted for, and some pieces have gone missing more recently. If it comes out, and I'm not saying that Catherine has taken them, but if it comes out that her or any of the Middletons have taken the jewels, or perhaps maybe even William took the jewels or somebody else to try and sell them off, that would be the scandal of all scandals. Because how are you going to be out here taking jewelry from the royal collection? Now, technically, that jewelry is actually owned by the British taxpayer as part of the Crown collection. We just, it's not anything that we're ever going to get to touch or wear. But these are technically the nation's pieces. So it's still a complete and utter mystery who took the jewels, but there's only a handful of people at this point. Even in the days following after the Queen's death, Kate was seen in many of the Queen's jewels, even at receptions, not just at the funeral processions, even just that casual receptions. There was the one, I'm sure I showed you the picture of this, where it was her and Camilla smiling and laughing. Don't know what they were smiling and laughing about, but it's all just very weird. And I'm sure the truth will come out eventually. Right, I'm just going to put the music on for a sec because there's something wrong with my plug. One sec, folks. Okay. Benjamin, why don't they hold a referendum on the monarchy? Okay, Benjamin, I'm actually going to come back to your question in a sec. Lottie, thank you so much for the super sticker. Lightside, you said, it's pronounced Buclu. The Earl of Buclu. Loving it. Okay, thank you so much, Lightside. Legs, you said, oh, okay, wait, did I read that? Yeah, I did read that. Okay, Benjamin, why don't they just hold a referendum on the monarchy? Oh, if we have a referendum on the monarchy, I think that it will be the biggest culture war issue we've ever had in the United Kingdom. I think that between the royal establishment, Westminster, and the British press, they will turn it into a circus. And if you consider how bad it was with Brexit, to be honest with you, I don't know if we should have a referendum. And I've said this before. I think that if you're going to have any type of referendum or vote, and this is just me, I think you should vote whether or not the British taxpayer funds the individual members of the royal family. That's what I think the referendum should be. Because they can go on with their parades if they want to do their parades or whatever it is that they want to do, if they fund it themselves. A lot of the stuff, there's no reason why they cannot fund it themselves, especially when it comes to their lifestyles. When it comes to things like, maintaining royal grounds, I mean, they can even be paid for by themselves if you just open them up to the public. I just think doing a referendum on whether or not the taxpayer should pay for them, even people who are pro monarchy, I think even some of them would pay. Would vote yes for that, and it would be then just a natural next step after that to have a referendum sometime way later. Especially the way things are going now, where they're just becoming more and more unpopular. I think you need to get it to a point where they're just at their point where they're at the most like unpopular to be able to do a referendum, and then maybe it won't be so destructive as like say Brexit was. That's just my take. They're slowly I think becoming less relevant anyway, especially with the younger generations. I think you get to a point where they just kind of fade from the public conscious, or the public just get tired of it, because why are we going through a cost of living crisis while we're paying almost 100 million every single year for this family? Just my take. It's under the haystack. What, Camilla Sauce's haystack? Is that what the jewels are? Rahini, plot twist. Queen Lizzie's ghost is playing tricks with the germs. That would be something. Do you believe in ghosts, Rahini? Lightside, was a referendum. It's a vote. So should we or should we not have a monarchy? Yeah, exactly, John Hickey. Meghan was not allowed to wear any of the jewelry, apart from on her wedding day and those shady Saudi jewels that they gave her. So you definitely cannot blame her. Yeah, a lot of those jewels went missing once the Queen died. Pamela, maybe the jewels went missing to pay for Willie's second marriage. Ring around the rosy. Padam pumcha. Hi, Chosen to be here. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Dorothy as well. They're losing a number of Commonwealth countries also. So that's also contributing to it. Mind you, you could just do away with the Commonwealth, but the United Kingdom could still keep its monarchy. So you don't necessarily need to, what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need to abolish the monarchy to get rid of the Commonwealth. It's up to the Commonwealth countries to leave the Commonwealth. Janita, you think after Charles passes, the monarchy is finished? Well, it's not really, because Britain is a constitutional monarchy, so there's a whole legal battle that would have to go on to separate monarchy from politics. And I think it has to be done at the right time, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not against entirely having a referendum on the monarchy. I just think it has to be done at the right time. And I think a good thing would just be to vote to take them off the taxpayers' purse string first, before you had a referendum for the monarchy overall. That's just my take. Okay, next thing. Where are we now? Yes, the trooping of the taxpayers' pounds happened. I saw this picture and I thought that was actually Philip. I thought Philip had come back to visit us. That is actually Charles, and he looks so much like Philip in that picture. No reports of anyone collapsing. You had the fly path with Charles's regalia. Wonder how much taxpayer money that costs. And Kate came out with all the buttons. We're back to the buttons. I am so glad that we don't have to pay full attention to these things anymore because Meghan's not there. Because, honey, she was the only reason that I ever bothered watching these things. And now I'm just like, give me the funny memes that comes with the event. Louis, as always, living his best life on the balcony, the grand balcony. For once, we had no balcony discourse. There were a couple of articles saying that Harry and Meghan were not invited. Translation, they were never going to come. Why would they? Right. Before we get onto the main story, let's just get some of your comments in. Kathy G, member for 17 months. Thank you so much. You said Kate did an Ocean's 8 with a jewelry. Listen, who has taken the jewels? Oh my gosh. It wouldn't surprise me, because who else has taken them? It has to be Kate, William, Camilla, or Angela Kelly. Those are the main suspects. Like, I don't think Sophie would have the audacity. I don't think Anne would. So who's taken the jewels? There's only a handful of people that could have taken them. Right, main story, Spotify. Now, in my last podcast, when I originally reported on this, I had said that it was just a rumor, and at that time, it had only come out in publications that just write tabloid fodder, and it was kind of mixed in with a commentary from Tom Bauer, and there was no official Sussex spokesperson statement. So initially, when I reported this, I was like, "Oh, it's just a rumor." Well, it turns out that Harry and Meghan have indeed parted ways with Spotify, and a spokesperson for the couple says Spotify and Archwell Audio have mutually agreed to part ways and are proud of the series we made together. So who was responsible for the leak? Who was responsible? Alan Vernon, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Silver Squaddy, thank you. Could it have maybe been this guy? And Mr. Bill Simmons, who sold The Ringer, I have no idea what The Ringer is. I'm assuming it's a podcast. To Spotify, I think that's his podcast, to Spotify in 2020, and has risen through the tech company's executive ranks, derided Prince Harry and Meghan Markle on his podcast Friday as effing grifters. Why is this guy so angry to see Harry and Meghan leaving Spotify? And I'm wondering, like, as this commentator on Twitter said, I'm wondering if this was leaked by Spotify earlier to undermine Harry and Meghan's storytelling. Spotify should call off their attack dog and do better. It wouldn't surprise me if, there were talks going on within a company, somehow it leaked to someone, and now we have this guy, Bill Simmons, coming out, and I think it's funny that he's calling them grifters when he's clout chasing. I had no idea who you were before Harry and Meghan were on your lips. But you know something? I'm glad. I'm glad that Harry and Meghan are gone. And they're not the first major stars to leave. The Obamas also left Spotify. So to me, it just sounds like Harry and Meghan knew their worth. Obviously, Meghan has just signed with WME. Maybe they wanted more money and more control, which they're entitled to. I see no reason, quite frankly, why Harry and Meghan could not just do their whole own production themselves. I think it's very tempting when you've got a lot of capital, and I understand when there's a lot of pressure on you, you want everything to be perfect, 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 but you can get perfect for a much smaller budget, to be honest. Some of the biggest podcasters don't have giant teams, and listeners care more about the message than 100-person team making your podcast. And they could easily get advertisers. So, yeah, this guy, go outside and touch some grass, sir. Go outside and touch some grass. Some interesting commentary here from Kristen Menza. Menza. She also has her own podcast, and I think her podcast is all about the British tabloids. Might be worth listening to. I haven't checked it out yet, but I want to at some time. Sounds interesting. But she says, as someone who's been in the podcasting industry for 15 years, trust me, podcasters switch up production deals all the time. I have. The Obamas have. There's nothing especially shocking about Sussex and Spotify mutually agreeing to move on. Yeah, it's just a business move. That's it. And then Jane Marie, who worked on Archetype, said, I'll say it again. I liked working with and getting to know Meghan and Harry. It was brief, but they were welcoming and gracious. They had good ideas that they'd never be able to pursue, which is a bummer. Just my 2 cents. Yeah. I see no reason why they shouldn't just go independent, to be honest. Right, let's see what you have to say. Like you said, why is anyone as angry as they are re Harry and Meghan? Show me on the door where Harry and Meghan hurt you. Ouch. Yeah, there's just no reason for them to be so mad. What are you mad about? Maybe he actually knows how much money they got in this deal. Jeannie, hi. The United Kingdom is a very divided kingdom currently. Yes, that's why I actually don't think it's a good idea to have a referendum. I think you need to just wait until the polling shows you have maybe 60-70% of people want to get rid of the monarchy. Then it would actually just be a clear vote. Then there doesn't have to be any debate about, oh, there was voter fraud, and oh, there was this, and oh, there was that. And no, just leave it until the majority, even before the vote, have decided they don't want a monarchy. You're just going to have less stress and aggro. Had enough of that stress and aggro with Brexit. Wine Joy, you said, I think the monarchy will continue, but their desperate and failing efforts at relevancy will just make them more irrelevant. Yes, I agree with that. Roseanne, the weather in the UK was much cooler today. No collapses. Oh, thank goodness for that. But they still need to change those uniforms. Violet, it's actually a cult. So called Monarchy, in their bug's mind, do they really think that Harry and Meghan can go to the UK just to be abused, harassed, and bullied? Yeah. And the way the whole, not just the family, but the whole firm, the way it's structured, is like a cult. They want to control you financially, especially if you're more popular, as Harry always was. They don't want you to leave, and then when you do leave, they start acting like Scientologists. Shady, you think Charles is very suspect? He's the king. He doesn't have to steal the jewels. He has all the jewels. He has all the stolen jewels, so he doesn't have to steal the jewels that were stolen. Yeah, light side. Anne doesn't seem like she's in the jewel stuff. She likes those fluffy hats with the feathers on it that make her look like she's about to get into a fight with Napoleon. Tiger Cub. Paul Burrell took the jewels. Maybe. Oh, it wouldn't surprise me if the Middletons honestly have some of those jewels and have sold them off in the black market. You can quote me on that. Because goodness knows, a lot is going to come out about that family. Okay. Last thing I wanted to get on to. Yeah, Meghan was spotted. And I think Natasha Devon just summed up what I felt about this article and these pictures. And the Daily Mail actually led with this story, homepage, of course, because Meghan makes them the most money. They said, leading the Daily Mail's online coverage today, exclusive, women not walking around with permanent smile on her face. They deliberately go out to get pictures of Harry and Meghan looking angry, of them looking frustrated. And I'm sure in this entire reel of photos, there were pictures of Meghan looking absolutely happy and fine. But they have to continue to paint a narrative, even in the middle of multiple court cases. It's like they just won't let it go. The tabloid media continue to act like the crazy ex who got rejected. You went off and upgraded and got something better. And here they are, still screaming and yelling and complaining. And it makes me realize that that night during the New York chase, that was the reason Meghan was so straight-faced. Because they go out of their way to get pictures of her and Harry looking distressed. And those pictures are probably worth more. That's all I want to say. I don't want to go too long into that because I'm pretty sure that those photos were by Blackgrid. Okay. I did have one more story, but the video accompanying this has not uploaded. Let me see if I can upload it now. It's the lady who did the personal career essay, apology, mostly to Harry when she should have mostly been apologizing to Meghan. That whole essay that I read the other day, she was on CNN. Okay, I think I've got the video now. And she said this. Let me just play this once it's loaded.
But I think in the meantime, they've just been increasingly frustrated by watching the media coverage of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and just how, in my opinion, how unfair, how distorted, how often just quite mean and spiteful that coverage can be. And I've hoped that maybe a reporter or a news organization might take a step back and look at the way that they have covered the royal family, particularly Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and look at how they have in the past, how they are now, whether it's justified or whether they might need to course correct. And I thought, why keep waiting? Why not just do it myself?
So I want to show folks at home some of the magazine covers that you approved during your time as an editor. And you say that you stopped seeing Harry as a human being in that time. That is really quite the confession. I wonder, I mean, how did that happen? Why did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, the royal family have a real hold on us in New Zealand, that we're part of the Commonwealth, and so they have sort of been a big part of our society for more than a century in terms of the media. And I think it's kind of like how we do with celebrities, that we can put them in a bubble, that they live in a whole other world, that they're not like us regular folk. And I think I got caught up in that and the churn of that news cycle, and start realizing that this was a real person who never asked for this life, who was born into it, who we've scrutinized since he was just an embryo, and has really not deserved the way that he has been treated by the media. And yeah, I think I feel like I need to stand up for him and look at what I've done in the past to be unfair to him also.
I wonder what you would say to them if they were watching tonight. What would you say about everything that's transpired?
Sure, I would say to keep going with what you're doing, and I'm sorry, as I've written in my article and capsule, that for what I have done and what I did when I was a magazine editor, and I'm genuinely sorry for that time, and but I think what they're doing of not staying silent about this and continuing to let people know what it's like out there.
Okay, and so notice in that she mostly still defers to Harry and not to Meghan. And like I said, when I actually read out her non-apology apology, when Meghan talked about her miscarriage, she didn't think to apologize. When Meghan talked about her suicidal ideations, she didn't think to apologize. When Harry himself said that the situation with the press and the way that they were radicalizing people in the UK had become so dangerous that he feared that history would repeat itself, as what happened with his mother, she didn't feel to apologize. I think that this woman is being completely self-serving. I really don't feel that she's sorry. If anything, I think that she's just covering her back. Boy. Dorothy, maybe they are taking full control, just like Tyler and Oprah did. See what having friends in high places can do, and they don't talk. Yeah. Doesn't Tyler Perry just bought BET, right? Sorry, I think I actually missed that story. Is that right? That Tyler Perry bought BET? Who said that? Yeah, BET and VH1 purchase. Okay, there's other reports saying he didn't buy BET. Or is he just a part owner? Okay, there seems to be conflicting reports about Tyler Perry purchasing BET. Okay, we'll just leave that story for now. But nonetheless, you were right in saying that yes, when you've got friends in high places, they can inspire you um, to handle your business dealings in a way that benefits you better. So I'm sure they're getting the best advice and they'll do something amazing soon. Yeah, I think that her non-apology apology was to generate traffic for her blog. Yeah, she's never seen Meghan as a person at all. I mean, even when Harry and Meghan first started dating, Harry released a very strongly worded statement to the media. She didn't listen then. Maybe it's actually just a sign that um, they know that if Harry wins his case, perhaps that's the beginning of writing hater articles just not being as profitable as it used to be. And she just wants to get ahead of everything. Yeah, it's a Jeremy Clarkson type of non-apology apology. And Harry and Meghan are one. So you hurt one, you hurt the other. Okay, about Tyler Perry, you had 25% ownership. I mean, he owns a whole studio lot. Incredible. All right, I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah, we are done for the day. Thank you, everyone, as always, for coming. On your way out, please do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thank you, everyone who donated and supports. Much appreciated. And yeah, let's just keep up the good positive vibes. Even though Harry isn't going into court every day anymore, the trial does continue and more people continue to give evidence. And it's great to see phone hacking back in the news again. And it's feeling like a little bit more justice will be served this time. Right. Who's going to get the last word of the day? All right. Tony C, I'll give the last word of the day. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day indeed. Go and enjoy Barons, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Ciao.
Lunes, ya. 1, 2, 3, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Y esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Bien pegadito pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Yeah, yo le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Los noquea como lo haya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. La bebé esta cara y eso que no usa Supreme. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las